Orient. It is not only a self-fulfilling idea, it's not only an idea about the West producing itself through alterity, but also it is it's a regulatory idea in which the non-West is defined through various practices, although Said didn't dwell well on this, but we know from his Foucauldian perspective, he would enable and he would welcome this second understanding of Orientalism as that which creates. It's not only imagines, it creates the Orient, including Islam, through certain practices and through certain state impositions. Now, 19th century reformers wouldn't recognize modern-day Islam. And in fact, the use of extremism in the 19th century was different. If we look at how people like Renan, that Dr. Ebno talked about yesterday, the way he understood Islamic, the way he used extremism to interpolate and to extort, if you can say, Islam, was different than the way modern-day war on terror would, for instance, use. He wanted Muslims to be rationalized. He wanted Muslims to be civilized, so to speak. But he didn't want Muslims not to be terrorists, because back then Muslims weren't identified as terrorists. They would only be terrorists when they are completely internalized and incorporated in the logic of globalization and the global late capitalism. So Orientalism produces the Islam it imagines. People like Wael Halaq recently made an analysis in which he kind of completely distinguished between the Islamic politics, at least the classical Islamic politics, and the modern state politics. They have totally different understanding of the subject. They have different understanding of subjectivities and even of laws. While the Islamic laws is much more about technologies of the self, the modern day legality is much more about about state, what we call law, which cannot be translated as Sharia. These are two different ontologies and two different epistemologies. But then he talks about how Sharia is not only in his book, The Impossible State, but also in a very famous article that he wrote under the title, What is Sharia? How Sharia is being translated into law, into qanun. Not only through the production of the personal status law that secularized Islam, there are a lot of studies on this, but how Sharia itself is being translated into modern day legality. And we have seen this yesterday and today when people try to say, Sharia doesn't contradict the modern day law, it doesn't impose apostasy laws. It has always been in conformity with democracy, and it has always been friendly with the modern state, although the modern state is a very complete novel introduction, and it wouldn't make sense for pre-modern politics to kind of to engage with and so on. Other people like John Milbank, Sabah Mahmoud have actually talked about this very particular idea. I don't want to spend so much time on it. Sabah Mahmoud's book is very important. It came only